friends. In places like South Dakota, Montana, and North Dakota, bison still roam the vast prairies. Most people think that means they are unaffected by industry. They are wrong. Without processing plants, there would be no market. This would mean no large bison herds. So the question is, are factories destroying bison, or are they quietly keeping them alive? By the late 1800s, the American bison was nearly erased. Fewer than 1,000 animals remained, not because conservation failed, but because bison no longer had an economic role. Without a reason to keep them, there was no system to protect them. That reality began to change only when bison meat entered the market. As demand slowly formed, raising bison became financially viable again. As demand slowly formed, raising bison became financially viable again. Today, as a result, North America is home to roughly 500,000 bison, most raised on private land for commercial use. At the same time, the U.S. bison meat market has grown into a hundreds of millions of dollars industry, with retail prices often 2 to 3 times higher than beef. Each year, tens of thousands of bison are federally inspected and processed. For modern meat plants, this creates a clear incentive: limited supply, premium pricing, and growing demand. That economic pull is what brought the bison back and what continues to hold it in place. Bison are not cattle, and treating them like cattle is what gets people hurt. Unlike domesticated cows, bison have never been fully tamed. They react faster, charge harder, and can jump fences that would easily hold beef cattle. A full-grown bison can weigh over 2,000 pounds and reach running speeds close to 35 miles per hour, making close contact extremely dangerous. That is why bison operations avoid tight handling, crowded pens, and constant human presence. Instead of control, the goal is distance. Ranches are designed to guide movement, not force it, reducing stress and lowering the risk of serious injury. The less directly humans interfere, the more carefully the entire system must be engineered. Because bison are raised with minimal human contact, the moment they leave open pasture is when risk spikes. Transport places a 2,000-pound animal into confined trailers. It was never adapted to tolerate. Animals that are too large, too old, or overly aggressive can injure handlers, damage equipment, or arrive stressed and unfit for processing. Under U.S. federal inspection rules, any bison showing injury or extreme agitation must be removed from the line immediately. These are not ethical judgments. They are safety decisions made at the point where control matters most. Bison processing plants rely on advanced technology not to move faster, but to prevent loss of control. Compared to cattle, bison are stronger, more reactive, and far less predictable, meaning even a small error can result in serious injury, lawsuits, or a complete shutdown of operations. In this system, technology exists to reduce variation and eliminate hesitation. Under U.S. law, humane handling does not refer to emotion or gentleness. It refers to speed, consistency, and measurable physiological response. The process can meet every legal and scientific standard for humane treatment and still be difficult to watch. Humane, in this context, means controlled, not comfortable. Bison meat is sold as a better option because, on average, it contains 30 to 40% less fat than beef and delivers high protein with fewer calories per serving. That fits perfectly with modern health-focused diets, but this cleaner image comes with distance. Most consumers never see the transport, the factory, or the decisions behind each cut. That separation is deliberate. If the full process were visible, demand would drop, supply chains would slow, and prices would rise. Bison may look different on the plate, but it still depends on the same industrial system kept out of sight so the market can keep moving. In short, bison didn't survive because America protected them. They survived because they became economically viable. Their wild nature prevents cattle-style farming, forcing low-control ranching, high-risk transport, and tightly regulated high-tech processing. Humane in this system means speed, consistency, and legal control, not emotional comfort. Bison meat is sold as cleaner and better, yet it remains industrial. There are no villains here, only a system built to balance safety, demand, and contradiction, because no cleaner solution exists yet.
Across the U.S., about 192,477 bison roam private ranches, per the 2022 USDA census. Each year, roughly 60,000 are processed under federal inspection, down 21% from 2024, supplying lean, nutrient-rich meat to grills and tables. Is the wild part, bison nearly vanished from 30 million in the 1-800-S They crashed to under 1,000 due to overhunting, think Buffalo Bill, and habitat loss. Conservationists, indigenous tribes, and ranchers saved them. Yellowstone became a haven. Now, with nearly 200,000 farm-raised bison and a 1,031% surge on native land since 2012, they're thriving. Over 5,000 roam wild in Yellowstone in 2025. This is more than a comeback, it's a sustainable meat revolution, blending history with modern diets. Curious? Stick with us to see how bison keep their wild spirit on ranches and plates. Back in the day, 30 million bison ruled America's plains. They were everything to indigenous tribes: meat for meals, hides for clothes, bones for tools, and sacred symbols. Then the 19th century hit hard. Settlers moved west. Railroads fueled mass hunts. Hides piled up and campaigns targeted native life. By the late 1000, 800 s, fewer than 1,000 bison remained. Extinction loomed until heroes stepped up. Tribes, ranchers, and conservationists rebuilt herds. Yellowstone offered refuge. Today, 1,986 ranches span the U.S. Fueling a green meat industry. How do they raise these giants today? Bison life starts on open ranges. In spring, after 9 months, cows give birth to 55-pound calves, cute red dogs with rusty coats, up and walking in minutes. They nurse, then switch to prairie grasses, alfalfa, and grains by 6 months. This builds lean muscle for that sweet, gamey flavor. By 2 to 3 years, they're 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of pure power. Think they're just big cows? Nope. Bison are wild at heart. Let's see how ranchers keep up. Bison roam free, munching tough grasses, turning marginal land into lean meat with low impact. Their meat's 50% less fat than beef, perfect for low-carb diets. Winters mean extra hay or corn, 24 to 30 pounds daily for adults. Rotational grazing heals soil, boosts biodiversity, and cuts carbon emissions. Their wild side needs special handling. Curved alleys calm them for vet checks. Drones and RFID tags track sprawling herds. Dan O'Brien says, bison keep their wild spirit but fit our healthy American vibe. Becky Johnson adds, bison ranching's perfect for rural life. Demand's up with Canadian imports filling gaps. What's next when it's time to process? Bison processing is small-scale, 60,000 head yearly. Wide paths mimic herd flow. For humane, stress-free stunning, keeping meat tender and ethical. Butchers hand-cut these huge carcasses with care, ensuring top hygiene. The meat packed with omega-3s for heart health, zinc, iron and B12. Bison burgers have 20% fewer calories than beef, but deliver bold flavor great for BBQ or stir fries. Nothing's wasted, bones make pet treats, hides become leather, organs turn into supplements. Respect from ranch to table. Try check eye for grilling, short ribs for slow cooking. But why are bison such a big deal? Bison are cultural giants, sacred to tribes for centuries. Today, native ranches like Cherokee Valley blend heritage with sustainability. They're economic stars too, creating jobs in ranching and processing across South Dakota and Montana. Eco-tours like Yellowstone's draw crowds. Hormone-free and grassland-friendly, bison fit America's green push. The market's at $496,700,000, 0 cents, growing fast. From near extinction, bison show we can sync with nature. Sarah Gleason says, bison changed my life, maybe yours too. Bison or beef tonight? Comment 1 for bison, 2 for beef. Will you try a bison burger at Whole Foods? Share your recipe! If this peek into America's frontier hooked you, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Cook a bison burger, posted with Papaba. Cook a bison burger, we'll share the best. See you next time, uncovering how our world rolls. Hello friends! The Netherlands, no bigger than Maryland, is the world's second largest agricultural exporter. How does it rival the US, the global leader? By using half its land for high-value crops like eggs, meat, cheese, tomatoes, and peppers. Innovation runs in its veins. In 2024, Dutch farms earned $140 billion, 0 cents, with growth steady into 2025. Shockingly, while the US faces a record $49 billion, $500 million, 0 cents trade deficit in FY 2025, up from $31 billion, $800 million, 0 cents, the Netherlands boasts a €42.8 billion surplus. This tiny nation pioneered greenhouses with robots and AI supercharging yields and saving water. But storm clouds loom. Skyrocketing energy costs, worker shortages, and pollution rules threaten its lead. How did the Dutch build this farming empire? And can they teach the US to grow more with less? In the 13th century, a fifth of the Netherlands was underwater. Dikes and windmills reclaimed land for small farms. Then World War II hit. In 1944, Dutch rail workers struck against Nazi occupation. The Nazis cut food supplies, starving 20,000 in the hunger winter. Could this tragedy spark a revolution? Post-war, food security was everything. Minister Sico Mansholt merged farms and funded research, making Wageningen University a global powerhouse. Its ideas fuel startups, from plant-pounded electricity to robotic harvesters and greenhouses spanning Spain to China. In Westland, near Rotterdam, greenhouses glow orange and purple at night, their lamps turning winter into summer. Margaret Lawyer runs Lawyer Cucumbers, a third-generation tomato farm. A grandfather's farm? Nothing like this, she laughs. Plants here grow a foot a week. Margaret's team prunes vines to avoid a jungle. The Netherlands exports 900,000 tons of tomatoes yearly, despite its chilly climate. Bees pollinate every plant, living in buzzing bee hotels. LEDs mimic sunlight, doubling efficiency. Water use down 90%, but 1 tablespoon grows a pound of tomatoes, not 50 gallons like elsewhere. But here's a twist. Humans still outpick robots, which miss ripe fruit in tangled vines. Can AI change that? Workers pick tomatoes at peak flavor using a color chart. Green, not ready, Margaret says. Ripe ones hit trucks overnight. AI cameras catch splits, while robots sort small or yellow tomatoes. Nearby, Arnoud Dien's VD Holland grows 85 million peppers hydroponically. Computers act as the farm's brain, tweaking heat, water, and light. Sticky traps zap bugs, soon scanned by AI, yields 12 times the global average. In Kentucky, John Smith, once a corn farmer, switched to Dutch-style greenhouses at App Harvest. Droughts crushed us, he says, but LEDs and hydroponics cut water 90%. Bright Farms in Texas delivers greens in 24 hours using Dutch tech. Can the US catch up? VD Holland exports 95% of its peppers via Rotterdam's ports, but greenhouses guzzle energy for 2 million homes. Some say Dutch tomatoes have a carbon footprint 6 times field-grown ones. The Ukraine war spiked costs, cutting Russian gas. Lawyer's farm runs its own power plant, warming greenhouses and selling extra energy. VD Holland drilled for geothermal power with a $46 million 0-cents bet. At Wageningen, Leo Marcellis says lights are life for plants. His LED/power used by half, boosting lettuce's flavor. But can tech beat a bigger crisis? The Netherlands leads Europe in meat with 4 million cows and 104 million chickens. Its dense farms emit the most ammonia per hectare, harming ecosystems with algae blooms. Government buyouts sparked protests. Wageningen's dairy campus tests floors separating cow waste to cut ammonia. Smart feeders find maize reduces methane. The US fights droughts in California but leads with USDA's $3 billion, $100 million, 0 cents for 141 projects across 60,000 farms, trapping carbon with cover crops. Will these fixes save farms, or is it too late? The Dutch can't feed 1 billion hungry people alone. Climate scientist Jonas Jagermeier says outdoor grains feed half the planet, but greenhouses aren't ready for corn. No silver bullet, he warns, but teamwork is close. His AI tools warn farmers of weather shifts. Linking them globally, Dutch tech meets American scale in app harvest and USDA projects, potentially boosting US exports 10 to 20%. The real Dutch export? A mindset of collaboration, rivals no more. They could feed the world. Subscribe to see how.